Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the glamorous, fiercely competitive, and emotionally turbulent world of Los Angeles fashion. Today is a beautiful day to unpack the explosive, deeply tragic drama currently unfolding behind the velvet ropes of Forrester Creations, as a legendary family empire stands trembling on the precipice of absolute ruin. Let us explore the emotional wreckage and the profound psychological shifting of alliances left behind by the latest, most devastating act of corporate warfare we have witnessed in years. The hallowed halls of Forrester Creations, once a vibrant sanctuary of boundless creativity, familial unity, and unparalleled artistic innovation, have suddenly been transformed into a cold, echoing mausoleum of broken promises and shattered trust. Ridge Forrester stands alone in the center of the expansive design room, surrounded by the ghosts of what used to be. The lingering scent of expensive imported fabrics and the faint, fading echoes of sewing machines offer no comfort to a man who has just witnessed the catastrophic collapse of his family's corporate culture. Hope Logan, the golden child of the youth demographic and the beating heart of the hope for the future brand, has officially packed up her visionary talent and walked out the door. Her secret defection to the rival Logan brand is not merely a resignation. It is a deafening declaration of war, a seismic shift in the industry that has left Ridge paralyzed by the sheer magnitude of the loss. For decades, Forrester Creations thrived on the delicate balance of passionate disagreements and underlying familial loyalty. But as Ridge surveys the empty drafting tables where Deke Sharp once sketched brilliant, cutting-edge designs, the harsh, undeniable reality crashes down upon him. The culture of the company has fundamentally collapsed. It has been suffocated by an atmosphere of toxic arrogance, petty grievances, and unchecked ego. The collaborative spirit that Eric Forrester built from the ground up has been systematically dismantled, replaced by a chilling environment of fear, favoritism, and vindictive power plays. Ridge feels the tectonic plates of his legacy shifting beneath his feet, realizing with a sickening dread that the empire is bleeding out and the wounds are entirely self-inflicted. The blinders that have shielded Ridge's eyes for so long are finally, painfully being ripped away. For years, he has been his daughter's fiercest protector, her most vocal champion, and her unwavering shield against the criticisms of the world. He has constantly excused Steffy Forrester Finnegan's aggressive tactics as the necessary ruthlessness of a modern business executive. But in the deafening silence of Hope's departure, Ridge experiences a profound, agonizing epiphany. Steffy's leadership is not visionary. It is deeply, dangerously vindictive. She has not been guiding the company toward a prosperous future. She has been using the co-CEO chair as a personal weapon to settle old scores and punish her perceived enemies. The realization hits Ridge like a physical blow, tearing at the very fabric of his paternal devotion. Compounding this immense professional tragedy is the suffocating, relentless pressure radiating from his wife. Brooke Logan Forrester is currently spiraling into a frantic, desperate state of maternal panic and fury. The escalating corporate war has already driven Brooke to the unthinkable extreme of physically slapping her own sister, Katie, across the face. Brooke's desperate, unyielding demand to seize the co-CEO position has placed Ridge in an impossible, soul-crushing dilemma. He is caught in the crossfire of a bitter, generational blood feud between the women he loves most. Ridge knows with absolute certainty that if he does not take immediate, drastic action, his marriage to Brooke will shatter irreparably, consumed by the toxic fallout of this unending Forrester-Logan rivalry. Driven by a desperate need to salvage whatever is left of his family and his company, Ridge leaves the sterile, hostile environment of the executive boardroom and embarks on a solemn drive to the Forrester mansion. The winding, sun-drenched roads of Beverly Hills offer a stark, jarring contrast to the dark, stormy turmoil raging within his mind. The mansion looms ahead, a majestic, enduring monument to the genius, passion, and enduring legacy of Eric Forrester. It stands as a physical reminder of what is truly at stake. Ridge carries the weight of the world on his weary shoulders as he walks through the grand double doors, knowing that he is about to do the unthinkable. He is about to ask a grandfather to help him destroy his own daughter's professional life. Inside the quiet, dignified sanctuary of the mansion, Eric Forster is the picture of patriarchal grace, entirely unaware of the corporate apocalypse that has just detonated downtown. Ridge enters the room, his posture defeated, his eyes heavy with the immense, suffocating burden of leadership and paternal failure. The atmosphere instantly thickens with unspoken tension as Eric takes one look at his son's devastated expression and realizes that something is terribly, fundamentally wrong. Ridge does not waste time with pleasantries. He cannot afford to. With a voice trembling with a mixture of grief and suppressed rage, Ridge breaks the devastating news. Hope Logan is gone. She has officially resigned from Forster Creations and defected to the rival Logan brand, taking her unparalleled vision, her dedicated following, and the brilliant Deke Sharp with her. Eric is immediately struck by a profound, paralyzing sense of shock. As the visionary founder of the company, Eric has always possessed a keen, intuitive understanding of the market, and he has consistently championed the youth demographic that hope for the future so perfectly captured. To hear that this vital, vibrant branch of their legacy has been severed and handed directly to their most aggressive competitors is a blow that strikes at the very core of Eric's business philosophy. But as stunned as Eric is by Hope's departure, he is entirely unprepared for the brutal, unflinching autopsy that Ridge is about to perform on the current state of their beloved fashion house. In a moment of agonizing vulnerability, Ridge looks his father in the eye and utters words he never thought he would say. He calls his own daughter, Steffy, a childish tyrant. The phrase hangs in the air, heavy with sorrow and absolute conviction. Ridge details, with painstaking clarity, how Steffy has allowed her deep-seated personal hatred for the Logan family to completely dictate multi-million-dollar business decisions. He explains that Steffy did not sideline the Hope for the Future line because of budget constraints or strategic market shifts. She did it purely to punish Hope, to marginalize her, and to assert a cruel, unnecessary dominance. Steffy has weaponized the legacy of Forster Creations, turning a beacon of global fashion into a petty playground for her own vindictive amusement. Ridge delves deeper into the psychology of Steffy's disastrous reign. He paints a picture of a co-CEO who is acting out of a desperate, toxic need for absolute control, blinded by her own arrogance to the catastrophic damage she is causing. Her tyrannical behavior has created a suffocating environment where talent is stifled, creativity is punished, and loyalty is demanded but never rewarded. Ridge confesses to Eric that he has failed as a father and as an executive by allowing Steffy's behavior to go unchecked for so long. He admits that his blind devotion to his daughter has empowered her worst instincts, transforming her into a leader who inspires fear and resentment rather than passion and innovation. The conversation then shifts to the terrifying, existential threat looming just outside their doors, the Spencer-Logan alliance. Ridge urgently warns Eric that Bill Spencer is not merely launching a boutique fashion line. He is ruthlessly assembling an unstoppable corporate army. With Wyatt Spencer returning to the fold, Will Spencer joining the ranks, and now Hope and Deke bringing their creative genius to Katie's brand, the Logan Empire is poised to launch a devastating strike against Forster Creations. Ridge emphasizes that Steffy's arrogant dismissal of the Logan threat is a fatal miscalculation. By alienating Hope, Steffy has essentially handed Bill Spencer the exact ammunition he needs to destroy them. But Hope's departure, Ridge argues, is only the beginning of the hemorrhage. He issues a dark, prophetic warning about the impending talent drain that will inevitably follow if the culture of the company is not immediately rectified. He speaks of Zend Forster Dominguez, a brilliant, dedicated designer who is currently suffocating under the weight of Steffy's apathy toward the youth market. Ridge knows that Zend is already harboring deep resentment and contemplating his own defection. If Steffy remains in power, Forrester Creations will continue to bleed talent, losing its brightest minds to the Logan brand, where creative freedom and respect are actually promised. The company will be reduced to a hollow, decaying shell, a tragic museum of past glories rather than a dynamic force of future innovation. It is here in the heavy, emotionally charged silence of the mansion that Ridge makes his ultimate, heartbreaking plea. He looks at Eric, his eyes pleading for salvation, and asks his father to intervene with his foundational authority. Ridge begs Eric to officially revoke Steffy's title as co-CEO. It is a drastic, nuclear option, a move that will undoubtedly shatter the family dynamic and ignite a firestorm of controversy. But Ridge insists, with every fiber of his being, that it is the absolute only way to amputate the infection before it kills the host. Steffy must be removed from power, not out of malice, but out of a desperate necessity to save the company from her childish tyranny. The emotional toll of this request is etched deeply into the lines of Ridge's face. He is a father asking to publicly humiliate and dethrone his own daughter, a woman he loves fiercely and has spent his life protecting. But Ridge has finally realized that protecting Steffy from the consequences of her actions is no longer an act of love. It is an act of corporate suicide. He explains to Eric that true leadership requires making the agonizing, impossible choices, and this is the cross he must bear. He is willing to sacrifice Steffy's ambition, and potentially her affection, to preserve the legacy that Eric spent a lifetime building. Furthermore, Ridge lays his heart bare regarding his fracturing marriage. He confesses to Eric that his relationship with Brooke is hanging by the thinnest, most fragile of threads. Brooke is unraveling, consumed by the perceived disrespect toward her daughter and the escalating violence of the corporate war. Ridge knows that if he allows Steffy to continue her reign of terror, Brooke will never forgive him. By removing Steffy from the co-CEO chair, Ridge is not only attempting to save Forrester Creations, he is desperately trying to save his wife, to pull his marriage back from the brink of total annihilation before the collateral damage of this war consumes them both. Eric Forrester sits in stunned, profound silence, absorbing the sheer magnitude of his son's agonizing plea. The patriarch is torn between his deep, abiding love for his granddaughter, who has been a fierce, albeit misguided, defender of his legacy, and the undeniable, terrifying truth in Ridge's words. The shock on Eric's face perfectly mirrors the tragic realization that the Forrester family is fundamentally, perhaps irreparably, broken. The silence in the room is deafening, filled with the ghosts of past triumphs and the looming shadow of an uncertain, perilous future. They are two men holding the fate of an empire in their hands, forced to choose between the daughter they love and the company they built. If Eric agrees to this drastic course of action, the fallout will be nothing short of catastrophic. Steffy will feel utterly, profoundly betrayed by the two men she respects and loves the most in the world. It will ignite a bitter, vicious civil war within the Forrester family, a conflict that will make the current corporate rivalry pale in comparison. Steffy will not surrender her power quietly. She will fight with the ferocity of a wounded lioness. But as Ridge stands before his father, resolute and broken, it is clear that he is willing to light the match. He is willing to burn down Steffy's tyrannical regime in order to save the soul of Forrester Creations. This is a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions, a deeply emotional saga of power, pride, and the devastating cost of family loyalty, leaving us all breathless as we wait to see